There's about 23 million people on the island, and you hear numbers anywhere from 3% to 7% that are actually Christians. That's mostly on the west side of the island, where there's 3 large cities, and within those cities there has been quite a bit of outreach there. But when you get into the countryside areas, the percentage of Christians goes down drastically. I would say it was less than 1%.
台湾就是在中国大陆的东南方一个小岛，台湾是一个 beautiful island。
We are a church planting ministry. On the northeast coast of Taiwan, there's a big city called Keelung in the north, and about the middle of the island there's a city called Ilan. There are churches in those 2 villages, but in between there are no churches, and there's a lot of villages, a lot of people, and it's our mission or our vision to plant churches in these areas.
Let's pray for Taiwan in general and northeast Taiwan.
I came over to help teach English in the elementary schools. We use that as a way to get into the schools to minister to the kids and bring them to church.
On day 4, God said...
September the 28th, 2008, that we had our first church service. And because we had taught English so much in different schools, our main people that we invited was just kids that we had taught English to. So we would have about 25 kids come in the very beginning. But after about 3 months, they started dwindling away. They started not coming back. We noticed that our message was changing from a English teaching type message to talking about Jesus. And the more we talked about Jesus, the less concerned those kids became. After about 6 months, on an average Sunday, we only had 8 people, and 5 of those come from my family.
Because stress comes on everybody. There's nobody. I mean, the person...
I was a cabinet maker before I became a missionary. Me and my fellow cabinet maker, we had just finished building a new set of cabinets, really nice set. We were putting them in the home. We were installing them. As we were installing them, I asked the lady of the house, where would you like for us to put them? Because they were still in good shape. They were just old, 30-year-old style, you know, but they weren't rotten or anything. And usually, my customers back then, they would always have me put them in the garage or in the back shed so that they could, you know, put tools or just store stuff in them. I said, do you want me to put these in the backyard in the shed? And she said, no, just take the old cabinets down and take them out to the road, and I'll call the trash truck to come pick them up. As I was walking backwards, holding this cabinet to the street to throw this cabinet away, I had an epiphany. You know, I felt like God just spoke to me and just said, one day soon, your cabinets that you're putting inside, your new cabinets, your beautiful cabinets that you built, that you spent so much time of your life trying to please somebody and trying to please yourself, they're going to be carried out and thrown away and burned. And everything that you're doing with your hands is just a waste of time. And why don't you just give up that? Why don't you build into the eternal heaven? You know, why are you building into this world that's going to burn up one day?
I want to share God's love, and that's why I'm a missionary. It's, yes, I could share God's love in my church, but in my church, there's 500 other people that could do that just as well as me. But what are we doing for the other people in the world that need to hear it and don't have someone that loves them?
This is the first overseas, leave it all behind, sell your house, sell your car, not be able to go home when you need to be home. This is the greatest sacrifice, I guess, that I've made.
I struggle. It's hard because I feel like churches aren't established in these areas, and where they are, it gets frustrating that people won't come, or if they do, their ears aren't listening and their hearts aren't opened. And so Plenty of times I've called out to God, like, why? Like, I don't understand, God. Why aren't these people listening to you? Is it something, the missionaries here and myself aren't doing right? Are we not sharing the gospel correctly? Am I not, sacrificing enough? Yeah, the kids were loving and wonderful, but how do I speak to their hearts? How do we break down this cultural barrier, this language barrier to get to their hearts and really show them your love and have them understand the relationship that you want with them, that they come and proclaim you as Christ.
If you were to just land here and just take off in a car and go around this island, you would say, this is a wonderful place to live. These people seem to be happy. They seem to have enough food. They seem to have clothes. They have places to live. But the problem is you start looking a little bit deeper and there's darkness when you go to the temple. People are pleading for their lives to a God that's not there.
Everywhere you go, you see temples and you see the people in the communities burning paper money, buying paper money to burn to gods that aren't alive, that aren't living, and they think that they're putting their hope in these people and gods that are man-made. And the gospel is really important here because people are lost. It's just really hurtful to see people trying to be good, thinking they're going to get to heaven, but in the end, they may not.
It's just like any other community. If someone gets sick, if someone dies, if there's a divorce, the people here hurt. They hurt just like in America. They're no different. We all come from God. We're all built the same way. We all have the same emotions. But they don't have a choice here. They don't have a choice to go and seek out God's patience, God's joy, because there is no place to go. The only choice that they have is to go to a temple and ask for luck. And you just pray to that God. You ask that God to bless you. You ask that God to influence your life. And it's actually a piece of wood or a stone that was carved out by some man's hands that's going to just perish one day when Jesus comes back. It's just going to be more fuel for the fire.
It was pretty difficult with the traditions and the temples and just what a stronghold that the devil has on Taiwan as a whole.
And just the other day, one of the missionaries came to me and she said, I was over there at this such and such area and there was some kind of temple ceremony going on and there was this guy who was hitting his back and blood was coming out and the thing that he was hitting his back with, he would throw his blood on the people as if he was like blessing them with his blood. And I just can't believe that was happening, There's that kind of thing going on. So Satan is trying to mimic the blood of Christ in this kind of situation.
基督教这个宗教不是美国人的宗教。
We want to plant the churches. We want the churches to get strong. We want the churches to influence the people, to influence the community. And when I say the churches, I really mean what's being promoted through the church. The church is the bride of Christ. It is the beautiful, adorned wife of a very satisfied, very content woman who loves their husband. And so the church is to prepare the people, to get them ready, to let them be excited and have anticipation about what Jesus is going to do when he arrives. Because he's coming back one day. That's what the Bible promises us. That's our long-term vision, that's our goal, that's our hope, that the people here will have a choice.
When I came here the first time, I came with the team and just saw the temples and how hard the Roberts were working to keep this ministry going and to get people to church and just to share the gospel. I really felt the weight of what they do. I felt it, and it's just so hard working in constant darkness and constant temples and just trying to work against something so big.
I think every ministry needs a Richard Roberts that can really just keep driving towards the goal that God has put in his heart. He has a heart for the Taiwanese people. And Jessie, they're a great team. She is always preparing what is needed next and feeding the people and taking care of the people. The thing that impresses me the most about them is their love and the love that comes from their kids. You can tell just the heart of a man by the way his children respond, not only to him, but to the gospel and to the people around him. So
I'm really blessed to have a dad and mom that raised me to want to follow God my whole life.
To be honest, being a missionary family at times is really, really difficult. There will be like times, and maybe even months, where we will either, struggle spiritually, we'll struggle financially, struggle with just even the people who do come to church or who we are ministering to. It's just like why, if this is going on, maybe we shouldn't even be here. And it will be sometimes in the lowest of times where God will just do something miraculous, and it'll be like, wow, he really is, taking care of us. And so that is what, for me, seeing those kind of things happen, that keeps the fire burning, I guess, in me to know that we're supposed to be here.
God took over from there and started convicting me and saying, you need to give up your so-called American dream of just trying to get stuff and come and, and minister where it's needed.
So we're still painting props. I would say there's days that it's no problem, and I just feel so excited about it. And then there's days that I think, have I lost my mind? I mean, I'm 53, no retirement plan, waiting for my church to send money. Sometimes it doesn't make any worldly sense. But I don't want to be anywhere that God isn't. For today, I will say, I am here, I am ready. Tomorrow, you might see me go, this is hard.
To recognize that in this area there were no churches before. There is no Christian culture here. There wasn't any before we come. I told a child one time, I said, Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. And he looked at me and used another God's name, and he said, no, this God, so-and-so, is the way, the truth, and the life. And this child was only 8 or 9 years old. So you can tell that as they're growing up, they're already being infiltrated by the devil. And that's one of our purposes for being here, is to not just start a church, but to build a Christian foundation throughout the whole entire area, because it's going to work together one day. And we believe that all of these little churches that we're planting in every village, that one day that everybody's going to be coming to the churches, and they will say that Jesus is the way and the truth and life, because they will know it, they will have experienced it.
What if this road was filled with people and they're wanting to come in to this place? And I mean, somebody stand up here and they can preach to them, tell them about the love of Christ, tell them about that Jesus is the only way for them to get to heaven.
I think my role and David's role is to stand in the gap until the Taiwan Christians rise up and take the leadership for this Northeast Taiwan. I think we're just holding the place and lifting up the people in prayer and waiting for to even see the harvest maybe come from the local Taiwanese people, the ones from Taipei that know Christ. I don't think that I will ever speak Chinese well enough to just go and share the gospel. Richard's vision is for the children, this generation, to know all about the Bible and the characters of the Bible, that Jesus is the Son of God, and just planting those little seeds so that when someone that can come and explain it, they, oh yes, I've heard of Moses, oh I know, I've heard of Jesus, I saw the resurrection story in my school. So I think it will come, but I don't think it's going to come instantaneously. I think it's going to be just like preparing a field and waiting for that first sprout to come up and then the second one. And then I think there will be a harvest one day in Taiwan.